Yes, good afternoon. Ma'am, today's date is the 27th of June, 2018. I'm here talking to Elizabeth Brooks. Ms. Brooks, how are you?
I'm fine.
And what is your relationship to this office?
My relationship to this office?
Yes.
I am a client.
And how long have you been a client of ours?
I have been a client of yours quite a few years ago, but today I'm back for another case.
And did we just settle it?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with our work?
Yes.
Why did you come back to us after all these years?
Oh, well, my nephew lives with me, and he came to you all, and I asked him who was his lawyer, and he told me who his lawyer was, and I came to you all, and then when I came here, it's like, I've been to this lawyer before, I remember.
What's your nephew's name?
John Johnson.
Give him my very best regards.
Thank you.
And I want to let you know, has everybody here been professional and
Yes.
kind?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Have we answered all your questions?
Yes.
And have you been satisfied with the work we've done for you?
Very much.
Now, in talking to you, I discovered a little bit about your history, and I thought it was important to record that history. So, when were you born?
I was born on October the 9th, 1951.
Where were you born?
I was born in Mitchellville. But I wasn't born in Mitchellville. I was raised in Mitchellville, but I was born at Prince George's County Hospital.
Tell me what life was like in those days, because one of the things that we just did a book on our mother, Alberta Christian, who's 89, and she was born in very modest circumstances. And when you started telling me, you said you were living in a shack. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we lived in a shack. We had wood stove, and we had a wood stove in the kitchen. And when Pops would get home from work, he'd go out there and cut the wood and load it up on the porch. And that night he would get an old green piece of wood and he would put it into the wood stove. And that would last us all night long to keep us warm, because that was our heat. Our heat was the wood stoves. I mean, it would get kind of cold in there at times, but we bungle up at nighttime, and snuggle up. And
What was your father's name?
Edward Brooks.
What was your mother's name?
Rosie Brooks.
How many brothers and sisters did you have?
Altogether, counting myself, it was 9 of us.
9. Give us the names of your siblings.
Okay, it was Mildred, Mary, Annie Mae, William, me, Elizabeth, Teresa, Albert, Barbara Jean, and Darlene.
And are all of you alive?
No. My father and mother has deceased, and I had just lost one of my brothers and one of my sisters. We just recently lost them.
My condolences. How many of you are left then?
It's 7 of us left.
Yes. What did your parents do for a living?
Actually, my father, he was a construction worker, and he also raised tobacco. Also.
So did you work in the tobacco fields?
I was kind of like the last of the siblings, so I didn't get to really get my hands dirty. But the ones that was before me, yes, they got to work in it pretty much.
You said you guys had animals. What kind of animals did you care for?
My father raised hogs and chickens, and I remember with the chickens, I remember my mother would say, "Okay, we're gonna have chicken tonight for dinner." So I would go outside and I would get the axe. And I would take the axe and I would put the chicken head neck on the piece of wood, and I would chop his head off and let him jump around the yard, and just hop around the yard until he died. And then we got a hot scalding water, and we would soak it down inside of the water, and then we would pluck the feathers off of it. And then we would take it inside, and Mom would do whatever she had to do to get it out, or whatever she had to do, and then we would have that for dinner.
And this is happening just not too long ago, in the 1956s here in Metro DC.
Yeah.
Where did you go to school?
I went to, it was a school called Tall Oaks Elementary. It's still here, but I think there's a vocational school now. And then for high school, we went to Douglas, but we had to stop going to Douglas because they integrated the schools. So we had to go all the way down in Croom, Maryland to go to school, because they hadn't desegregated the schools yet, which means that, blacks had to go to the black schools and whites went to the white schools.
So when you started going to school, it was segregated.
yeah. It was blacks going to the black schools. I mean, and whites going to the white schools. So blacks didn't go to our school. I mean, whites didn't go to our school. Only blacks. So when they decided to change up and say, we're going to mix, then I had started going to the Upper Marlboro, to not Tall Oaks. What's the name of the school in Upper Marlboro? It became a
Douglas?
no, not Douglas.
Wise?
No.
Wise is new.
No, Frederick Sasser.
I see.
Yeah, see, it became the main office
I see.
after a while. Yeah.
Oh, so it became the school board office.
Yes.
But
We used
that
to go
was
to school there.
I see.
Right. It was a school there. Then all of a sudden, when they closed that down, stopped us from going there. They turned it into the main office.
I see.
Then after that, then it became like a school boundary thing. So I had to be shifted again, and I had to start going to Bowie. So I graduated from Bowie High School.
Outstanding. What year?
In 1970.
Outstanding. Did you go to college?
No, I didn't.
What did you do as an occupation?
Actually, I got out of school. I got a couple little straggly jobs, but my biggest career began when I started working for Giant Food.
Yes.
Giant Food, and I've been with Giant Food for this year will be 45 years.
Outstanding. What do you do for them?
Well, right now I've been kind of like rotating around in different various jobs, but right now I'm a cycle counter, so which means I do inventory for the warehouse.
Great. Are you married?
No,
You have any children?
I got one daughter,
How old is she?
and she is 31. She's 31. She just turned 31.
And I'm sure she's as beautiful and smart as you. I'm going to ask you just a few more questions. What was life like for a young African American back in your day?
Personally, myself, I look at myself back then, and I look at the society today, and I always tell my daughter, I wouldn't change anything that happened to me when I was growing up. The world back then, it was just so much better than today. I mean,
You were saying with even the internet and cell phones and cars and all.
Yes, oh my God.
Did you all have a car when you were growing up?
Well, when I turned 16, yes, I did have a car. I had my car at 15. When I got my license at 16, I had a car.
What kind of car was it?
It was a 66 Ford.
Yes. And your father, did he have a car?
He had a truck. He had a
I
pickup
see.
truck.
What kind of pickup truck was it?
He always got a Chevrolet truck.
I see.
Yes.
So you were saying even though it was segregated and even if you may have been in a shack and you had to go draw water and you had to have a wood stove, that life was better.
I loved it. I wouldn't change anything.
Were you saying life was better because there was less crime or?
It was better because to me we had more fun. I mean, to go outside and to play hopscotch, to go outside and just to be outside in the woods, and just to be outside doing different stuff. I mean, jump rope jacks, horseshoes, and kids today don't know this kind of stuff. They don't know what this is like. I mean, it was just so much. We didn't want to come inside at nighttime. We wanted to just stay outside and just play. We played.
Did you have television?
We had a black and white. We finally got a black and white TV. That was and it was no color TV back then. And I also remember when they had just completed the Beltway. I remember that when the Beltway was being done, and I remember somebody saying they finally finished the Beltway.
Wow.
Yeah, and I remember when they were putting telephone poles up. There was no telephone poles.
You mean you didn't have a telephone in your house?
We had one, but it was the dial one, and but like I said, the telephone poles was still being put up. All the areas didn't have telephone pole areas.
I see. Did you have electricity?
We had electricity, yes.
Did you have indoor plumbing?
No, our well was up on a hill, and at first we used to have to take a little bucket with a long string on it and go down in there and get the water and bring it up by the string.
So how would you take a bath?
How we take a bath? We had a big old tub, and we would put water on the stove, and we would get the water real hot, and then we would put it in that tub, and about 2 or 3 of us would have to get in one after the other to take a bath.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So, you know, that's just how we
And
live.
were there any like shops like Safeway and Giant in those days, or Wegmans?
If we did, it was Jumbo food store. We went up in Sea Pleasant to get our food. We went up there, and they had a little strip. They had like a little 5 and 10 cent store, and I always remember me going into that little 5 and 10 cent store and getting a toy out of there. We were so excited
Yes.
And we went up there also to do our laundry. There was a laundromat up there. Right on the corner, there was like a little drugstore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that has changed a lot now. It's not like it used to be there. But the Jumbo Food Store is gone too. I mean, it's another store there.
Did you go down to Washington often? To restaurants or the
The
White
only
House?
time we went downtown was when it was time to go back to school. We went down there to Morton's to get our school clothes.
Was that on 9th? Was that on 8th?
8th Street.
yes.
8th Street, yes. We went down there to get our, we thought we was living big then, go down there, catch the bus down there to get our clothes and come back, It was
But there was no Beltway in those days.
no.
What you took, 50?
No, we went the back. We would take the back way to go. We would go somehow through Sea Pleasant and go up and we would catch the bus right there at Sea Pleasant because there was a bus stop right there in Sea
But there were
Pleasant.
no roads like 202 and 50 and all that?
I don't remember because like when Mom was driving, Mom was always the one taking us.
So your mother could drive?
Central Avenue. I know we would go Central Avenue up and Central Avenue back.
I see.
But 202, I'm not for sure about 202.
Yes, and your mom could drive?
Yeah, she could drive.
Yeah. What did she drive? Truck?
No, she had a car, but it was, I can't remember the name of what type of car it was.
Yes.
I
What
know
did
she
your
had-
mother do
she had
for a
an
living?
Impala. My mother, she really was a stay-at-home mom, but every now and then she would do a little bit of house cleaning and stuff for
Yeah.
people.
Could your
Clean
mom
people
and
out.
dad read and write?
My mom, I think she got married at the age of, I think she said she got married at the age of 12.
Wow.
Yeah, at the age of 12, she got married.
Amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
That was allowed?
Yes. It was
And how old was could your father read and write?
Huh?
So could your father read and write?
I don't know about that. I really never
Did you ever
saw
see them reading magazines like Washington Post?
Not really. Not really.
I see.
I mean, she could do some writing, but I mean, I know my mom could. My dad, I never really got into him. He was always out working all the time.
Do
You know?
okay? Do you remember Martin Luther King and the March on Washington?
Yes, I remember all that. I remember when he died. I remember all that. Yeah, I remember the riot. I remember the riot in D.C., the riot in New York.
Did anything happen in Prince George's County when he died?
No, it was mostly in D.C. and New York. I remember those two areas because my sister lived in New York, one of my older sisters, and she was telling me how they were just tearing everything down and they were getting stuff by the boatloads, because, I mean, everything was just out there, She said, whatever you wanted, you could just get it on the street because it was just out there.
And what about when Kennedy was assassinated? Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember him too being assassinated. Yeah.
How did people feel when these two men were killed?
Everybody was mad, upset. Everybody was really mad and upset about it. The blacks were especially,
Mm-hmm.
But I think the hardest one was Martin Luther King.
Yes.
Yeah, I think everybody took him really, really, really hard.
Have you seen in your life improvement? I know you said that things in your view were nicer back then. I guess less crime, more family love and pride. But how do you compare things then as you compare them to things now?
Like day and night.
Day and night.
It's like day and night. Totally like day and night.
Yes.
I mean, I tell my daughter all the time, I said, you just don't know what type of life I went through. I said, my father get up on Saturdays and he would slaughter hogs and kill them. And then he had a shed. He would take the hogs and hang them up in there. So this was our meals, This is what we ate, We survived off of this, And he would go down to this little place and get little baby chickens, bring them back to the house, and we would just hold them. And I mean, to have a baby chicken in your hand, it's so beautiful. And then to see them grow up as chickens, and I just wouldn't take nothing back. We had a garden. I mean,
what did you grow in the garden?
Oh, we had all types of stuff in there. We had tomatoes, and we had cucumbers, and all types of stuff in there, And then we had a blackberry bush over on the side, and we used to go out there and pick blackberries. My mother used to make blackberry reserves. She used to make all kinds of stuff out of blackberries, and she would take this stuff, right, and she would can it up for the winter.
Oh.
So when the weather got cold and snow on the ground, you're talking about opening up that stuff. That was the best food you ever wanted.
So you were saying you had a history of canning stuff.
Yeah.
What did you can? Tell us what you can.
My mother canned. She canned peaches. She canned blackberry reserves. And she made the best blackberry reserves in the world. She jelly. She used to make at Christmas time. She used to make a root beer. Homemade root beer.
How do you make homemade root beer?
I
Anyhow?
don't know. I wish I had gotten the recipe from my mom. There's a lot of things I wish I had gotten from her before she passed, but I didn't.
So, what would you say to children today about loving their parents or and about living life? What would be your final words to those who would be seeing this interview?
What would I say as a final word? All I can say is that put those games or cell phones down and spend more time with your parents and listen to their life stories. And if you can find older people to talk to, hear their stories as to their life, as to what they went through. I mean, it's so interesting to hear stuff like this through life.
Miss Brooks, I can tell you this has been a wonderful interview. You're a wonderful person, and I just felt that I had to take this interview because we were talking, and when you said to me about how you lived and grew up in Prince George's County back in the 50s and 60s, that the future generations, I know it was not easy, but at the same time it was enjoyable, even if, there may have been segregation and other things like that. Did you ever feel, let's say, less than a person because of segregation, or did you just accept it as the way things were?
I accepted as the way things were, but at the same time, kind of hurt because I couldn't understand, why white people would want to separate themselves from us, and I felt like we were all God's children. So, I could never understand the prejudiceness. I mean, personally myself.
Did you have any white friends when you were little?
Yeah. I had a white girlfriend. Her and I was kind of close. Yes.
Yes. They live close to you?
Yeah, she lived up the street. Yeah.
I see. Where is she now? Do you have friends?
She's passed.
Oh, I see. I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, God bless you, and I will send you a copy of this as soon as I get it rendered, okay?
Okay, thank you.
God bless you.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Thank you.